Muchas gracias, Padre Fabian. Muchas gracias para tu familia, para tu hijo. Muchas gracias. Father Fabian, a couple of days ago before the ordination, I asked you, how would you like to be called when you are ordained? Would you like the people to call you Father Fabian or Father Moncada? And your response was immediate. Father, I want to be called Father. That's all I want, is to be called Father. Great. Beautiful. But that is not a title of prestige. It is not a title of honor. It is a title of love. It is a title of relationship. Pope Francis, a month ago or so, spoke to the women religious, and he told them, we need mothers. The church needs mothers, not old maids. I read that and said, ouch. Sister, he just called you an old maid. But then I prayed over it and prayed to understand what Pope Francis was trying to say. And then I was able to put it into my own context. Father Fabian, Pope Francis says to you, the church needs fathers. The church does not need bachelors. Be a father. You want to be called father? Be a father. I'm sorry for the people in the pews. You'll be hearing 2 Father's Days homilies 2 weeks in a row. I'm sorry, I'm a week early on this one. However, fatherhood. A father provides, a father protects, a father establishes, and a father gives justice and mercy. I learned some of this, Father Fabian, from the fathers in the pews. First, the father provides. In today's first reading for the First Kings, the widow of St receives Elijah into her home, and the father provides. They were about to run out of food. Her and her son were about to die because they were about to run out of food. And Elijah says, don't worry, the Father will provide. And they had food, and they ate, the 3 of them. The father of the church needs to feed and educate the children of the church, to teach and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, to provide the sacraments to the children, to introduce them to Christ, to provide for them the beauty of God's great love, to provide for the people. A father protects. Once again, the widow of Zarephath. Her son is about to die. Elijah goes upstairs and protects him, protects the child, brings the child back to the widow. A good father needs to be able to protect the family. And a father of the church needs to protect the children of the church. Pope Paul VI famously said in 1972, the smoke of the devil has entered the church. protect your children from the enemy. If you do not understand the enemy, if you do not understand who the enemy is, you will not be able to protect the children from the enemy. So I ask you, continue to pray the discernment of spirits, to understand the discernment of spirits. St. Ignatius of Loyola did a great job of bringing us that great tradition of discernment of spirits, and knowing the enemy, and knowing the spirit of good, the spirit of God. You must know that you need to protect God's family to be called a father. To establish. A father establishes in his life. He establishes a family. He establishes a home. He establishes a welcoming place for visitors and his family. You too, as a father, will need to establish a welcoming place, a welcoming home for all those who want to meet Christ, all those who Christ is shepherding to you. Welcome them. Keep the door open, even for those who people might say, don't let them in. Keep the door open. The gospel life, the gospel story. You need to establish the gospel story of the new life in Christ. See in this gospel reading today how Christ brings new life to the young man who was dead. See out there in the world today, Father Fabian, that the world, there are many people walking that are dead to the life of Christ. Bring them, establish them into the new life of Christ. Relationships that bring you closer to Christ, that bring everybody involved in that relationship closer to Christ, which includes you, Father. A father brings justice and mercy into the home. The fathers out here in the pews know so well that their spouses might say someday to their children, you just wait till Dad gets home. Because Dad brings the justice and mercy. Love your people. Know of both arms of justice and mercy. Yes, some days you will have to say no to the children of God, because you want them to learn the yes of the Lord's love. And yes, it is hard to say no to people that you love. But it is a must to say no out of love. To have that mercy, to provide the sacraments, to provide God's great love to them. Mercy is love in action. Provide them with the sacrament of reconciliation. Provide them with God's great love and mercy for a shoulder to cry on, a place to come and be welcomed. Know that someday, Father, that your children will call you in the middle of the night for whatever reason, because they are troubled, because they had just found out that a loved one had passed away, that they had just found out that someone is in the hospital, that they just found out that their home life is a mess. Every father up alongside of you probably today knows of those great phone calls at 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. A father responds to those calls. The father does not take a day off. Ask the fathers in the pews what their Saturdays and Sundays look like. enjoy, rejuvenate yourself with the love of the family of Christ. See the beauty of who they are. Know that you will always be praying for them, because out of love you will want to pray for them, for you want them to know Christ. Father Fabian, the church needs you to be a father, not a bachelor collecting a paycheck. The church, as Pope Francis stated, needs love, not complaints, not long faces. The church needs joy, the joy of Christ. Church, the church needs fathers. Be not afraid to be a father to the people of God.